So here we go. We are going to be executing on a plan in the next week here. Still getting some stuff prepped together, but I'm gonna take you on a trip. A trip that's been planned for about 3 or 4 months. Something that we've been working on for a few years. Iterations here and there, just all different types of iterations. Finally executing on that. Still trying to figure out exactly what we're doing, what I'm recording, what we're gonna be talking about, or if I'm talking at all. Hopefully this is going to be entertaining, because that is the ultimate goal. If it isn't, well, it still might be out there. So yeah, let's see where we go with that. So we are officially packed up. It's been a few days since the start of the video here. We're doing day one. Day one is going to be essentially heading out to Lone Peak Campers in Wenatchee, Washington. I am heading out there from Idaho. It is currently the beginning of March, and we are heading out there now. So weather is perfect. It is 51 degrees, and that's pretty good for considering the last month or so. The goal is to explain in the first video, maybe just talk about some of the things that I've done to the truck in preparation for this as well, why I got to that decision. I'm thinking that I'm gonna probably make some chapters here just to make it easy for, like anybody asking about this or that. I haven't really built out a one-by-one list of items that I'm planning for, but we will get there when we can. So I'm about 516 hours away from my destination. No, I'm sorry, that's 5 hours and 16 minutes. I'm sure it's gonna be feeling like 516 hours towards the end of this. I don't necessarily like it, don't necessarily hate it, it's just tough sometimes. But that's, again, maybe one of those things that I'm trying to break past. So 334 miles left. I think I've driven about 60 miles so far, so about an hour in. Started about 9 o'clock, a little before 9 o'clock this morning. Had to go get some coffee, so all of those pieces really, take up some time. Left, later than that and so on, but that's okay. It's my day off. I'm doing this as a whole journey, so I'm not in any sort of rush necessarily. Just got to get there. Day one video is a little bit about the journey itself, to talk through the entire trip and the planning and what my plan is for the year. That's kind of what we're doing here. So we are on day one, but with some movie magic, we'll see if we can, that might change kind of how this is all presented to you. All right, so here's a breakdown summary of the things I've done to prepare for the Lone Peak Camper. First off, I am in a 2020 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road. I bought it used with about 80,000 miles. I'm currently at 82,000. My previous truck was an F-250, 2022 Tremor, King Ranch. I mean, it was a beautiful truck. It was also a very expensive truck. Didn't need that anymore because I wasn't pulling a trailer. Bought this truck and it gave me room to be able to do the Lone Peak Camper. First thing that I did was literally off the lot. I purchased the truck from Maverick out in Boise. Liz was great, thank you, Liz. Literally took it off the lot, drove it 5 minutes down the road to a place called Taco Vinyl, where we did the OTT, Overland something tune, within minutes of purchasing the car. I just walked in there like it was close to closing. I just said, hey, this is what I'm looking for, or hey, I know you guys can do this, so can you hook it up? And so they did. I mean, immediate difference. I don't even know, honestly, how a stock Tacoma, third gen Tacoma feels on the gassing. Right now I'm going uphill, 4,100 RPM right now, and frankly, what I heard about it was a lot of gear hunting, going uphill. I got some weight in the truck right now too, and I don't feel, there's no gear hunting, nothing. So I know that was one of the big things around getting the overland tune. That's been phenomenal. I get a nice little, kick. I've had no issues with the experience on the OTT stuff. So don't even consider it as a possibility. I think I went with just the lowest one too, like mild and spicy or whatever it was they have it named. Crazy amount of difference. All right, so the next thing that I did is going to be my suspension. Lots of research, lots of rabbit holes. I stuck to basically what came up a lot, which was the Bilstein 5100s. One of the big things though was the weight in the back going with the Lone Peak. I think it starts at like 375 and then you start adding all the other pieces that you want to do. I got another 500 pounds essentially that I'm planning or that I've kind of estimated for the Lone Peak. It's probably a little less than that, but we'll see. I'm gonna do a post check as well. But with everything loaded, I mean, I'm already getting to that max payload for the Tacoma here. So I did the leaf replacement, basically has the add a leaf option, or it has the stock replacement option. Then there's the replace a leaf, and then there's the add a leaf. So essentially I got all of those stacked in there because it's the weight rating for that is 600 pounds. Or like the load expectation is 600 pounds, so that's perfect. I bought all my stuff from Hot Shots Off-Road. Colton, I believe his name is. Great experience there too. He was awesome because I put in a whole bunch of stuff on order and then he called me and said, hey, I'm kind of seeing some stuff that you might need to change up. And then he asked me kind of, what are you trying to do? And so I told him about what my plans were and he said, so for the rears, the leaf pack, great for the load, and then the shocks, with the 5100s, and if there's any sort of bumpiness in the road, I'm expecting some maybe washboard roads or whatever they call them, but a lot of that bumping will heat up the shock. And so having that reservoir with the 5160s will help with those kind of roads with that load. So that made total sense to me. It absolutely made sense. Like, the back, I'm loading so much weight onto the back, then I want to be able to make sure that we have that capability with the shock itself. So we got the 5160s in the back with the reservoir. We got the leaf pack. I want to say it's RTX now, maybe? We also did the Timberin bump stops. I just don't like the idea of bottoming out. That's the rear suspension. On the front, I started with the 5100s and started reading some stuff. And actually what ended up happening is when I looked at the front coil and spring, I realized that they'd already put a leveling kit on it, a rough country leveling kit. And so my brain went into this thing. It's a 5-year-old truck, 4-year-old truck, 5-year-old truck. And coil's essentially been, like when you see it, spring something in tension and the paint on it chipped off because there's not enough surface space. So that's what I saw on it, and I'm like, you know what? Called Colton back after having everything settled with the 5160s in the back, and said, hey, what would it take to get us the 6112s? Because it would basically replace the coil, get the spring, all of that done by Colton, his team there, whatever, and then get it shipped out all ready to go. So all I have to do is replace the whole the coil or the strut, I guess it's called too, and the shock in itself. So I ended up doing the 6112s on the front, and again, the 5160s in the back. When I took out the stock shock that was in here, that again, 4 or 5 years old, right? When I took it out, I mean, the thing just came apart and the fluid actually started dripping on the garage floor. So glad I made the change in general, but definitely glad I got the upgrade as well. Haven't been doing much anything off-road or anything like that, but I did go down one road and God, such a difference just from the two. So for the Lone Peak camper, if you're prepping it up, get your rear definitely squared away in the terms of the suspension. Make sure that's all, groovy, and just make the best decision from a monetary perspective. If it's brand new, maybe a 5100 up front would, if it's a brand new truck or newer, maybe a 23, I would definitely do the 5100s up front. I might not have done the 6112s up front because that coil's a little newer if it didn't have the bracket in there as well. All right, bed prep. This one's gonna be pretty quick. Bed prep wise, I got the aluminum like HVAC tape. It took the top of the bed rails, holes all the way through. It's just that's metal piece. And so covered it with the aluminum HVAC tape up there. The front bar piece comes off. I put the butyl in front of that. So water getting in is kind of the big thing with the Lone Peak setup. And so I want to make sure that the Tacoma doesn't have those water entry points. So with the Lone Peak, what they said they do is they get the side gaskets ready to go. When we get there, that's when they actually figure out like what's going to be needed for the front, and then they put that front gasket on depending on how it looks or how it fits and things like that, and they'll put that front gasket on. So another thing we did with the truck in terms of the bed is I got the bed stiffeners and the tailgate replacement. So I went with, so I knew I was gonna need the bed stiffeners. Last thing I wanted in terms of this whole build was to have something happen to the darn bed, especially after I learned how it was built. Yeah, now I realize why they needed bed stiffeners. I thought they just used the like thinner gauge metal or something like that to build it, and that's why people were talking about it. But no, it's the whole composite and mix thing. But so I got the bed stiffeners. What I hated about looking at bed stiffeners was how some of those brackets stick out and basically remove the path between the truck bed over the tailgate and through to the tailgate anyways. So that little bracket, I'm sure if anybody's watching these about those brackets, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So in my research, I found that Billy Bars makes that bed stiffener, but what they do is they fold it into the gap between the truck bed and the tailgate. They also had another thing that I was looking at was essentially the tailgate and putting a platform on the tailgate. So I definitely knew I needed that. I wanted that. I wanted the bed stiffeners. So Billy Bars has the package that does the bed stiffeners and the tailgate replacement cover, whatever you want to call it. So I got it from them. I love it. It's the material is nice and soft. Going on top of truck tailgates with my knees, that's always been kind of one of those. I hate every aspect of this. I know it's going to hurt every single time, but with this, it's actually a lot better. You got the cup holders, drains out, and everything else. So everything there is great. But yeah, the bed stiffeners going in, out into without going into the tailgate bed. I don't know why they don't just sell it separately. Maybe a little bit of a feedback for you guys. But the bed stiffeners and the tailgate cover there, that is from Billy Bars. I looked at a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of other cool stuff out there too, but I really I wanted both, and they had a great package for that. Going back to the truck bed stuff too, actually, so in terms of waterproofing it and getting it ready for the Lone Peak, I went off-roading with the truck once and basically the mud got everywhere. So I found those entry points in the truck bed where that mud is coming from. So I put butyl tape over that, 4-inch butyl tape over that, so I can cover that whole aspect of it. All right, so I think I got everything on the outside, mostly, anything structurally with the truck. So now we're going on to the inside of the cab here. So nothing too crazy. Right now we're running off of the Bullet Point mount system Rubigrid. I had that for my F-250. I just like the brand. I like the, I don't know, Molly setup, I guess, kind of thing. So that's what I'm using for my dash stuff. Using the Wolf box, I actually got the Lone Peak without any windows. I just don't like the windows idea of it. So I got no windows, so I don't have any way to look out the back. So I got the Wolf box to do that. So I got the camera set up on my license plate. I plan on possibly moving that, depend on how lazy I feel, but moving that camera. The customer service for them is great. The first Wolf box one that I got, I think the rear camera connection on the Wolf box mirror here was a little wonky, so they were great. They sent out a whole new unit. They sent a whole new rear camera, said try both, see, replace both, return the other stuff. I ended up just replacing the camera because I had to wire that whole camera underneath. I actually didn't want to even the camera was working fine. It was definitely the unit itself. So I got that changed out. It's been working great ever since. I did just recently order the bracket replacement, so basically taking my current rear view mirror off, putting that bracket on and having the wolf box set to that. My visor, it blocks. The mirror is in the way. It just basically blocks it, so I can't, it doesn't go all the way down. So I'm just gonna see it adjusted over to the middle a little bit more too. All right, so back in action. Just got some gas, Oregon Trail. I'm in Oregon now, outside of La Grande. What's on the interior? So I just went over the wolf box. Let's see, what else have I? So I bought an Anker C1000 and wanted to be able to charge that up, max, and so bought the, starts with a G, I feel like. It'll be right here. Apologies. Now the Tacoma has a one outlet in the truck bed, so that's going to be where the Anker probably lives during, normal setup. With this addition, it allows the charge to stay at 400 watts instead of stepping down to 100 watts. And so I can charge the power while I'm driving at that max load. That's one of the updates I did. I did have the outlet on the back. I put the outlet inside on the back of the center console. So that is there for the thing that starts with a G, and that's ready to go. I actually use that to plug into my Anker, and I did charge that. Kind of crappy thing that happened is that the Anker was right at the edge of the door. I'm never going to do that again. I actually put a table there now to settle everything up on top of it, but basically it flew out. The Anker flew out, still was plugged in, and it pulled the whole thing apart. Pulled it right out of the darn socket, broke the socket and everything else. So I fixed it, using my ingenuity, but I fixed it and then put it back and it plugs in. It's a little looser now, but I'll use it for other things anyways. The Anker's gonna live in the back. So what else did I do? So interior wise, I took out the 60% seat in the back. Always been the intention. I saved the 40%er because I wanted to still have a place for my daughter to sit when we do drive around and such. So it's still a platform for all my other stuff. It's using more space. It's taking up a little bit of weight, but eventually I do expect to take that out at some point as well, and then build out more of a platform in the back here. So that's just a pending thing, no rush. It suffices as it needs to right now. But as you can see, there's some stuff back there stacked on top, and it's not even all the way up to the top or anything like that. So that's a little weight that I took out of here with that 60% seat. Currently, again, it's sitting on a table. I put a table down, worked perfect, platform for my cooler, and that's what's gonna live there. So let's talk about the seats. I got the Wenatchee seats. There's definitely a price tag to it, but going in and out of the car fishing was great in the King Ranch because it had leather seats. Maybe I was ruining it, I don't know, but water is something I don't want to think about. I don't want to think about taking off my waders to get into the truck to drive to my next fishing spot. I like the idea of just being able to crawl into the truck and just drive to my next destination, not worrying about water in general. I didn't want that to be a concern. So these are waterproof seats, pretty confident. That's why I got them. They cover the seat. But yeah, so these seats are waterproof. Some of them have like slots you can put on, like things you can add on to it. So I got a couple pockets up front, a pocket in the back as well for stuff. So I think that's everything. I have a few more plans on the truck itself. Hopefully this information was helpful for you in the grand scope of things. I had a lot of different decision points to getting to where I need to get to. Hopefully I was able to explain that, go through those thought process that I did have. Hopefully not in a way that's boring, but hopefully in a way that was informational. And yeah, have a good day. All right, so you can see that I am now in the hotel. Pretty uneventful day one. Just drove for the 6.5 hours plus. I actually went downtown, I guess, and had some dinner. Kind of a freaky story there in itself. It was quite comical, made the time fly, and I was scared for my life. But food was great. The food was great. So yeah, so tomorrow's the day. I think the appointment's at 12 at noon. So in the morning I got the car wash. They give you a free car wash. Hopefully that still sticks around for them, for Lone Peak, because that's pretty cool to get everything kind of pre-washed and everything else. I had a lot of stuff in the truck, not really locked down, so I brought everything into the hotel. We're good to go for tomorrow. Gonna go look for some great tasting coffee. Hopefully there's some out here. And take some beans home. That's another passion of mine. You guys might see me doing some coffee making here and there. We get judged completely on my coffee making skills. Day one was pretty quick, and hopefully we'll be on our way tomorrow on the way home, but making a couple stops and hopefully recording a few things on the way home. Figuring out how to sign off. I don't know. I've done this my whole life, so I'm gonna keep doing this, but who knows?